All right, we are back, guys. Had a little hiccup, like I said, it was on my side, but we are all good now. So, Anthony, you want to go over again exactly what you need to do to log in?
Yeah, so basically, when you first um, open the game, you will have to create a username and password. It's not linked to an email, it's not linked to anything, it's just linked to the PlayFab account, and then that will be your username and password going forward. So the game actually will sit there and remember it for you. So, like when I log in, I don't even have to type anything in, it's just there ready to go. So, and that's it. That's all you have to do. You'll be able to get right into the game.
Yeah, so like I said, guys, that was completely my fault. Of course, you got to create it. You can't just straight log in, and of course, I can mess anything up. So yeah, that was all my fault. So we're looking here now. We kind of got some like interesting things going on here. I see some different worlds going on. There's Earth in here. There's some I love the way these look, because you can definitely tell like each individual world kind of has its own thing going on, and it's got its own landscape. That's it's actually pretty interesting. But let's start off with a
Yeah. So
couple. Go ahead.
go on. No, you go ahead. Sorry, I thought I was gonna
Uh,
go in there. What were you asking?
so let's get started with a few icebreakers, but we both can kind of get into the groove here. Um, if your game was a type of food, what kind of food would you consider this game to be?
Um, Actually, funny story. I went through some of these, and I asked my wife because this was the one that stumped me. I was like, I have no idea what kind of food, and she actually came up with a good one. I would say it would be an energy bar.
Ooh,
And the reason I say that is because when you get in here, it's fast-paced action, it's adrenaline pumping, and it really just kind of gets you moving, kind of like an energy drink or an energy bar. So it really gets the blood flowing and gets you interacting, and it's very fast-paced action, especially in the PvP mode. So
okay. I see. I like that. That's interesting. See, if that was me, I would have said something like, "Oh, it's a pizza because pizza's just good." So
I
I
do
would
love a
have.
good pizza.
Oh yeah, well, most of us do. It's something easy to have, and you can just customize as much as you want, right? So like I'm assuming we always see all these devs, they do their little tip tapping on the keyboard code and stuff, making the games. You're a gamer, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, for the most part. Actually, it's kind of funny. I am definitely more of an art person. I have ADHD actually, and so I start something like a game and I get very bored with it. So if something doesn't attract my attention or lock me in right in the beginning, um, I actually don't stick with it. And so I haven't played a ton of games, which is kind of interesting being a game dev. Everyone's always like, "Have you played this game?" And I'm like, no, probably not." But what attracts me to a video game isn't so much the just game itself. It's the exploration. It's the look and feel of the game. I love a good story. I love the art behind the game. So that's what attracted me to game dev in the first place.
That's kind of interesting. You kind of you see these games that they're beautiful and stuff like that. You don't play them, but you kind of want to create something more beyond the game itself. You want to create these worlds. You want to create something that not for your own, and well, I guess it would be kind of your own enjoyment, but to get people to experience that enjoyment that you've created, right?
Yes.
All right, here's the next one. Your game had a celebrity cameo. Who would you pick?
So, um, Do you know who Alan Rickman is?
Alan Rickman. Oh, I know that. Yes. Yeah, I do. The Snape, right?
Who?
Snape from Harry Potter.
No, that's
Oh.
Alan Richson. So Alan Rickman is I don't know if you've ever seen Reacher, the show, um, based off the book series
Oh, okay,
by Lee
okay.
Childs. But he's a big guy. He's actually in talks to be the new Batman, um, all kinds of stuff. But he is actually I actually contacted him and his um, publishers or his not publishers. What's the word I'm thinking of? His you know what I mean. The yeah, but basically publisher, the one that sits there and does all of his gets him into different movies, different games, all of that. And I actually contacted his publicist and sat there and was like, "Hey, you know, we have a game. We'd really be interested in having you be a face in one of the suits as like the main character as the commander." And they were actually interested, but we weren't far enough along at that point, and so they they declined then. So hopefully we might actually be able to get him in and actually get an actual celebrity in here to do some voice acting and be a part of it. So
Oh, that'd actually be pretty interesting. Yeah, we ended up watching Reacher the series a while ago, and I know who you're talking about now. I get celebrity names mixed up all the time.
well, their name is very similar. It's
Absolutely.
literally just a yeah.
Visuals are really important to the game. That's right, Loopsy Lala. Visuals is what sells a game, I think. You know, you don't want to go into somewhere where it's just a plain landscape and you just running around. You want to see something more that's going on. Me and Anthony actually talked a little bit the other night about it, about, different landscapes of other games and how they're just, some of the world building is just absolutely gorgeous in some other games. What the one that you mentioned, Anthony, Pandora, right?
Yeah,
And
so um, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is
yes.
the game along with Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, so I don't know much about Legends of Pandora, but Horizon Zero Dawn, Loopsy, that I thought that game was amazing, especially with the story in it, and it was. So let's get into where are we going, Anthony?
Okay, so I will kind of break down what you're seeing. So you
Okay.
should be on with the Earth, the different game modes down at the bottom, and the different planets.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, I see all the planets. I see Earth in the middle, and the game modes down bottom.
Okay, so without giving too many spoilers, I did want to do some spoilers on here,
Oh, awesome! You
and
guys are
really
getting some good
do,
stuff.
yeah, kind of showcase what is to come. So the different planets are actually DLCs that will be in the game after the main storyline, which takes place on Earth. And so that's why we have a bunch of different planets. If you go down to the bottom right, Amia, it looks like a mysterious metal construct. That's an entirely metal planet. If you click on it, it'll bring up and show that the planet is locked, but there is a being in the background. This is showcasing in our game, there are creatures called Eldar beasts. So it's in our tongue, it's elder beasts, but it's spelled EL''DAR, and it means great old beasts. And these are creatures that exist on a different plane of existence. I don't know if you're familiar with like Dungeons and Dragons,
Yes.
but they have well, okay, so they have what's called the ethereal plane, and it's a plane that touches our own existence but is a separate parallel plane. These creatures basically live on this plane of existence, and their power, think of them as gods, their power bleeds through into these different into our world, into different galaxies. and they are actually what created these separate galaxies from ours. And their power bleeds through and actually powers these different planets. So each of these creatures have a different power source. One is psychic, one's divine, one's magic, one's tech, and one is elemental energy. So basically, their entire planet and ecosystem, their civilizations, their different colonies, their different foliage, all reflect what type of power is seeping through onto these planets. And you'll actually interact with all of these different civilizations, these different cultures, and you'll actually be able to tap the power of these planets as well, which unlock base classes in your suit, which give you different abilities. You'll be able to fight the different creatures. So if you think a magic planet will have dragons, elves, stuff like that you'll be able to interact with. One of the things I always say is, if you imagine fighting with a lightsaber type blade, flying around, fighting a dragon, like what other type of game are you going to be able to get that immersion in? You know what I mean?
Honestly,
And
that's kind
so
of
that's
sick.
just what, yeah. And all of these creatures will also be the raid bosses. So I just wanted to really show that we do have a lot in store for the community, not just a single story, but actually tons and tons of story modes and DLCs to come. Lots of content.
Huh. Yeah, that definitely seems like you guys got, a lot going on right now, especially to, improve the game a lot more. Kind of excited myself. All right, Lala Loopsy. The Upside Down. Yeah, the way how he explains it, yeah, it's kind of like the Upside Down. So Anthony, we are going to go, I'm assuming, to Earth, since it looks like everything else would be pretty much locked, right?
Yeah, so all the planets are there just to kind of showcase what we do have to come and will be unlocked as we go. Before we go down to the game modes,
Okay.
I would probably say we go up to the smithy
Oh,
real quick, which is,
okay.
so if you click that, you have 3 different types of customization areas. You have your different classes. Right now, there are 4 different classes: the Pathfinder, the Mag, the Cloaker, and the Brute. Okay, Pathfinder is your strategist. He actually has a companion, which you can see if you hover over him. The companion is your jetpack, but also a drone that gives you a lot of utility abilities. While the drone is off of your back and disconnected, you get healing for yourself and your companions. He'll be able to focus on enemies, attack, deal damage, protection, all of these different abilities, but at the cost of you not being able to fly.
Oh, okay,
So
I see.
he is the strategy type class, because you have to constantly flip between, do I need utility or do I need maneuverability? The Mag is your magician type class. He's your mage. He does a lot of um, elemental AoE type damage. He also does a lot of the combo setups for all of your other classes, as well as himself, against enemies and even other people in PvP. The Cloaker is your assassin type class. He's your stealthy, get in, get out character. He locks people in place so he can get up there and attack with melee.
Okay.
The Brute is your tank. He's everything tank. He gets in your face, smashes. He uses a lot of gravity type abilities to trap people in gravity wells, laser beams, just high intense powers, basically. We
Yeah.
actually also have a 5th class that we're working on called the Valkyrie. It is a female base class. I already have the design and everything, but we built it based on community feedback. I go to cons and everything and showcase the game, as well as in our community. And one of the big things is people wanted to see a female, and so we created a class called the Valkyrie that is a phase-based technology. and also a tank type support. And so she will be our 5th class as well. So she's not in yet. We're still working on it, but it's actually being sculpted right now. So
Well, see, that's kind of interesting because that actually leads up to something that I want to bring up earlier. So, I run a group. It's an Anthem community group, okay? And now I know there's a lot of people that we've been kind of promoting this game on there for a while now, and there's a lot of people that's been looking at the game and comparing that game to Anthem, and already I can tell there's a lot of differences you have going on, especially with the characters. And that's just something I've never seen in Anthem, that they decided to have a full-blown female character, and that's an interesting take on things. I mean, you kind of had, you have your main pilot and whatever, but you never had an actual like female mech. So,
yeah.
what kind of like really inspired that? I know that, like, you had community feedback, but like, was that just something that you've seen in other games that you kind of like was like, oh, this is something that like what kind of sold you on the idea to have a female suit? You know what I mean?
Well, so um, one of the things people wanted was to see a female visually. It's one of the things that, look at Marvel Rivals, look at Fortnite, look at um, First Descendants.
Yeah.
They capitalize on, you know, I don't want to say, but like sexualize females.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go that far. We actually were very modest with what we designed. She actually fits in, but story-wise, Valkyries have always been legendary female warriors. In um, my background, I'm actually Scandinavian and Norse, so I'm descended, Vikings, and so in my
Hmm.
history, Valkyries were always, the legendary female warriors. They were in a class of their own. Um, they were something to inspire, and so that's what I based the story and the actual suit design on. If you look at it, I've actually had it and shown it, and people are like, "Oh, that looks and reminds me of a Valkyrie." And in all of these suits, you can actually pick. So when you first come in, you'll be able to pick your human, whether that's female or male. You can customize the face, customize the hair, customize your look. And so you can have a female character inside the Brute. You can have one inside the Pathfinder. You can have one inside any of the classes. But the Valkyrie is just very specific due to story and lore that it is a female class. So that's just kind of what we wanted. We wanted to sit there and just mix community feedback, but not sit there and really go too far with it where we're, you know, being rude or anything like that. So
No, I totally get it. And like how you said, there is a lot of companies that like to over exaggerate how
exploit that.
female
Yeah.
warriors are. And
Yeah.
me personally, I love my RPGs and I love my, MMOs, and, my looter shooters. That's something that you always see a lot, especially when they have certain events. They'll be like, oh, summertime event. Let's, guys have their swim trunks and then girls are in something skimpy. I mean, that
Yeah.
it, it's kind of off-putting in a way, especially when you're trying to play a game and you just see, people that, I mean, to each their own, but you know fortunately sex sells like that, and that's what people buy. I mean, they make profit off it. I can't complain. uh well, oopsie. I know I was hoping for what is called dress up in Anthem, so I'm assuming that you're referring to uh, like deep customization. What do you think about that, Anthony?
So if we continue, if
Okay.
you click one of the, so just say click the Pathfinder,
Okay.
it'll actually take you into your customization. So we have, like Anthem had, we have different helmets. Our suits are split up into different pieces. So your helmets, your torso, jetpack, which is your companion for him, your arms and your legs.
Okay.
So if you just click helmet, you can
Ooh.
actually see these are all the different ones we actually have in the game. You can't click on them yet; they're locked due to having to find them and everything like that. But if you scroll down, you can actually see the different
Oh.
helmets
Okay.
that we actually have, and so they're all different rarity levels, and we'll bring in different um, power levels and help level your character up, stuff like that, just like any other looter shooter in our RPG. Um, but we have a lot to offer with that as well. One of the things we really wanted to do is give a ton of customization, not only from your appearance, but from your playstyle. So each of the characters is specifically targeted to a specific playstyle, and so you should literally be able to get in here and not see your exact character anywhere. I mean, even with thousands of people, no one should have your exact character. You know what I mean? And that's one thing we were really trying to capitalize on, even in the weapon system, which we'll get to a little later. But yeah, if you continue on here, up at the top, loadout is your different pieces here, and then your appearance. If you click on appearance up on the upper left, so here you can actually change the um, different materials as well as the color of that material. So if you click on your primary, you can actually go in and see a bunch of different materials, which will update the different parts of your suit.
Oh, that's actually that's really neat. Like it being able to choose the type of material that your armor is gonna either be made out of, and I'm assuming that it's not locked to like if you just pick plastic, you don't have to pick plastic for everything. You can actually mix and match.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
that's nice.
And right now we have a limited amount, due to the fact that we just wanted to showcase them. Obviously, there will eventually be where you can find materials, you can find different shaders. There will also be, you can change your emissive um, as well. There will also be, if you click on the color, you can sit there and there's a bunch of different colors, but you can also custom color, and it brings up a color wheel, and you can actually customize what color you want. We'll also eventually have where you can tone the different colors, so make them darker, lighter. Um, I actually changed mine on mine. There will also be a section here that you can add a skin to the suit as well. And so one of the things we have going on is we're doing competitions every month, because we give out models and stuff with the various different things that we have, 3D printed models. And like at the con I went to, if you bought a model or won a model, I told everyone if you paint it, we actually have a community competition where the community votes, and whatever the artwork is that sits there and everybody likes, we're actually gonna put and add it into the game as a skin that you can get. So it really gets the community involved, and you're able to get some artwork into the actual game, and it just brings in a lot of different varieties as well. So
I mean, it definitely sounds like you're, you know, having the community actually kind of have a little say in what's going on with how things are designed, and that kind of separates you guys from a lot of other companies. Yeah, they'll have their types of like Warframe, for instance, that they'll do you know there are community things, whatever, but they still limit them. It seems like you're giving your community a little bit more freedom with saying, hey, you guys do this and we'll, implement it into the game. Is
Well,
there...
so
Go ahead.
one thing we really wanted to bring is community. One of the things that I'm really striving to do is get community involvement, and what that is looking like is, like, take our Discord for instance. I'm in there almost every day talking to people, answering questions. So is my lead dev and my multiplayer dev. We all are involved in the community. One of the things we're doing is, instead of just building an entire game, we're building it up with the community involved. And what that looks like is we sit there and create a bunch of different modes that everybody's involved in. So right now we have a PvP. We also have a co-op mode that we're getting ready to release. And you're able to be involved in exactly what you want in the next mode. So we will take polls, we'll take community feedback and see, all right, what does everybody want in a mode? Do we want PvP? Do we want co-op? Do we want PvE? And we will build it from community feedback instead of just sitting there and building what we want and releasing it. You're able to be involved from the very beginning and grow the game how you want and be involved with it as we progress. So
Yeah, that's awesome that you guys are doing that, because I know there's a lot of communities, they're always there and they always say, well, reach out to us, tell us how you feel about things, and they kind of go the complete opposite way sometimes. Yeah,
now
that's good.
with that, obviously it will always be majority.
Mm-hmm.
We can't make, no matter how much I want it, we can't make every single person happy. Otherwise, we would have, millions of different types, and obviously that's unrealistic. So it will
Absolutely.
always be a majority vote, and that's involving the community as well. You know what I mean? So we'll take a majority vote on what we want, what we don't want, and then we'll build it from there. So
I see on here that while we're down in this smithy, we got a weapon over here. Can we go into that? Is that something that we can check out right now, or is it?
absolutely.
I'm kind of getting excited here a little bit. I want.
Yeah, so if you click on weapon,
Okay.
you'll go to select a weapon loadout. If you just say click on the first weapon there,
Okay. Ooh.
what we have is, so most games have a built weapon that you just find. You know what I mean? So in Destiny, you find a hand cannon and it's got stats, and they'll sit there and vary the different stats, but it is a hand cannon. You're finding that weapon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we actually split the weapons into parts. And instead of finding a complete weapon, you actually find pieces of weapons, and you actually build the type of weapon you want. So if you want a sniper rifle that does VFX beam blast, you can do that. So this gives us a crap ton, excuse my language, of customization, and allows you to actually build a weapon that you specifically want. So right now, with the weapon setup, with the different pieces, I think it's about 1,300 different weapon combinations and various weapons that we have. And so you can literally go through, each piece will bring different stats, different abilities, so it'll change your fire rate, your accuracy, reload time, magazine size, range, all of that. You'll find rarer pieces, like an exotic barrel that will bring a, even more powerful stats. And so we wanted to do something really unique, and it does take a lot more into it, but like I said, we wanted to bring a lot of customization and allow you to basically do kind of what you want in the game.
Yeah, see, you guys got like a lot more going on what I even thought that you guys had going. Do you get to basically design your any weapon that you want from top to bottom. That's
Yep.
that's interesting.
One thing that's not showcased on here either is that we will have specific weapons as well. But so like if you fight a boss in the game, he'll have a weapon that is built from here, and so you can find that specific weapon, or you can go in and for like pieces and stuff, like on the store, you'll be able to get a blueprint of that specific weapon. If you find it really cool, you can just buy the blueprint and it'll add all of the weapon pieces for that specific weapon into your inventory, and you can build it yourself. So
So there's actual boss weapons that you can get from PvE.
yes.
That's that, so that's a reason just to make sure you guys go in a PvE and go in there and level up and kick some butt. That gives you a good reason to do it. Now, I'm assuming that the boss type weapons, they're gonna be uh averagely stronger than regular weapons, right? Or is that something that you still got to customize those to kind of fine tune them, or is that just something that just gives you, a plane to work off of?
So they will be specific weapons. They'll be split down into pieces, but it'll basically be like an exotic version. So you'll get all exotic pieces to build that weapon. Now they aren't exactly locked into that weapon category. So just like any other weapon, all of those pieces will be put into your inventory, and you now have them to either buy or find or take out of your inventory, and you can use those in customizing other weapons as well. So it's not just locked into a specific weapon, it's just if you want that weapon, you can buy those pieces or get those pieces, and then you can customize it however you want from there. So
That is awesome. I love to hear that. Because that's the bad thing about it. You might find something like, for instance, like a scope on a boss weapon that you really like, and you're like, well, I like that scope, but I don't like everything else. Or I like, the magazine would look really cool on this gun, and you can kind of take that from there and not just have just one single weapon to say, okay, well, I have to use this even though I don't like whatever on it. I like the customization on that. Let's get into oh yeah, so each of these weapons, I'm assuming that we can also now customize color skins. Like, how do you guys have working with that there? You want to explain a little bit
yeah,
of that,
so up at the top you have the customize,
okay.
and that is where you're able to change. We just have some basic ones in here right now,
Okay.
but if you click on any of those, it'll actually change the different colors and skin of your weapons. We'll also have it where you can change the VFX, the emissive, just like on the suits. So you'll actually be able to change the sound your gun makes as well. So if you're a streamer and you wanted something funny and you have a sniper and you wanted it every single time you fired to make a donkey sound, you know what I mean? Like, streamers like to have fun stuff, and you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to put in a donkey sound if you want, or a quack, or some really cool SFX sound for the bullet. So
That's interesting because I've never kind of heard of any other game that lets you go that far into customization where you can do something like that. I mean, there might be another one out there. I don't know of one. Maybe somebody that's in the chat can mention one, but I've never personally heard of something. That's kind of cool. All right, as fun as this is, let's get into a little bit of you and some other stuff that you guys got going on here. So we went over the map, Smithy. is there anything else that you might want to bring up before we actually jump into it and get to play a little bit? I'm kind of getting antsy, not gonna lie.
Well, while we're here, if you want to click settings, might as well just run through that real
Oh
quick.
yeah,
We have
yeah.
all of your normal settings. So if you go to like controls, you're able to change mouse sensitivity, gamepad sensitivity. You're also able to change the inputs. So your different key binds, you can sit there and adjust and customize how you like to sit there and play. So we have all of your basic and main different um, setting options: audio, video, changing your graphic quality and fidelity. Just everything a normal game has, basically.
Uh, uh, These definitely seem like they're pretty smooth to go down through too, and it's I know like a lot of games they kind of have like everything that's real linear, and it's really easy to see what you're looking at. And is that something that you guys were trying to go for, or is that just something that you guys were like, hey, let's just do it like this?
Well, we did take some inspiration from Anthem as well as Destiny on our UI, um, which is kind of probably pretty obvious. I always liked something unique and something that people you don't see very often. But we definitely try to tie everything in to look the same, feel the same. It's a completely unique and custom UI setup. So it actually took us a couple months to sit there and just do this. Like I spent um, with a UI person like an entire month every single day, just a couple hours sitting there and just figuring out exactly what we wanted on here, how we wanted it laid out, how we wanted it to look and feel. And then we actually implemented all of this and did a huge update about a month ago, and that involved um, the entirely new weapon setup, the entire UI, the gameplay modes, all of that. So
Yeah, and it's honestly it's easy to see everything on here too, because I know that with a lot of games, whenever you go into the settings itself, that everything just kind of like once you start going down through the settings, everything just seems like it just blends together, and you're just like, oh, I gotta go find this now or change that. You're scrolling forever, but I like how you guys just made this simple enough to where if you need to, change, we'll just say the audio. Oh, okay, it's right there. You can,
yeah, it's pretty intuitive,
yeah, I like
especially
that.
if you've played any games whatsoever.
All right, Anthony, let's get it moving on here. What are we thinking about? Earth? I think that's the only one that we have open, correct? That's a starting.
so So right now, down at the bottom, the modes, we only have one mode that's complete right now.
Okay.
We do have another mode, a co-op mode, that we're working on right now, and sitting there and building and putting together. And so we will go back and forth and just build, like I said before, we're going to build a mode at a time. And what that allows us to do is it allows our community to get in and play something as we grow and as we build. So they have stuff to do. They can bug test. They can be involved. And then one thing that we wanted to do is PvP is the age-old question: is PvP better or is PvE better? I mean, everyone has
Mm-hmm.
an opinion. Everyone likes their style better, but from a dev perspective, mechanic wise in balancing, PvP is great to do the balancing between the classes, to know what works well with what doesn't work well with what is OP, what's not OP. So PvP really allows us to sit there and get in and fine tune all the classes. And that is one of the hardest things. I know if you've ever played, like Destiny has both PvE and PvP, but every single time you bring in a new weapon, something is broken. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely,
And
every single
so
time.
balancing is one of the hardest things in game dev, to sit there and really get that balance correct. And so once that balance is correct, it's very easy to just now move on to different modes and put it all together. Time-wise, PvE is the most in-depth, because you have to build the story, you have to build cinematics, you have to build all the missions, you have to do all that. And so we started with the balance mechanics first, and then we'll move on to the more time-consuming restraints of PvE and build it all together. And so we didn't want to sit there and build a game that's going to take us 3 years to do, and our community is just sitting there twiddling their thumbs waiting for it. You know what I mean? And so we're building the modes as we go, getting the community involved as we build the longest process, which is PvE.
With something with PvP while we're talking about it. Now, I know like a lot of games, like we'll say Call of Duty, Battlefield, those types of PvP games, even Destiny, for instance. When you're going in there, the first thing that most people go to do so they can have an easy time, they find somewhere to go and snipe, or you know what I mean? Have you guys figured a kind of way how to kind of not make things so meta in the way?
So yes, we actually, with Unreal Engine, there's it's called PCG, or procedural content generation, and Unreal Engine has done that very well. And so one of the things that we really want to bring and sit there and do that no one else has done, at least as far as I know, I may be wrong, is exactly like you said. If you go into Fortnite or Battlefield, every map is always the same. If you go into that specific map, you know exactly where you can lay low, you know exactly where you can hide, you know exactly how everything functions, where everything spawns. So we are actually designing a mode where you go in and every building, every tree, every rock actually changes its position. And we're able to do that with procedural content generation. And so every time you go into this map, it will sit there and be different. So you're not going to be able to sit there and find a place every single time that you know exactly where to go to sit there and hide. So
How do you think a lot of like, have you guys had like positive feedback about that, or have people kind of been like complaining, or is that something that just not implemented in right now?
it's not implemented in now. It's actually, as far as I know, never been done. So
Oh,
we are, it's in discussions and talks, and um, you know exactly how can we do it, how are we going to do it, is it possible? It is possible, I know that, but we have to build it ourselves, and we've actually had to do that a lot, because a lot of the things that we're using aren't built. Everything, a lot of it is custom, which obviously takes longer. um, you know, a lot of people sit there and bring in stuff that, oh, you know, it's just an asset pack, it's just that. We're not doing that. We are customizing a lot of the stuff. From the weapon system needed to be completely coded in. Unreal Engine doesn't have anything for the suit customization that we did. We had to completely overhaul and custom code all of that for the all of the customization. Yeah, it's intense, man. So we haven't had a lot of community feedback. A lot of the stuff I'm telling you, we as the devs have talked, but one of our big goals right now, we're pushing to get the community together. You know what I mean? We have something to show, we have something to play, and that now is the time to get people in to the community, to sit there and start play testing, start playing, start being involved. And so now we're really pushing, say, the story. I have a comic book being written about the lore and the story. It's kind of a fun, unique experience where you get to sit there and read it in comic book form, collect it. We'll actually have hard copies that you can actually put on your shelf. You know, we have a lot coming and being done for the community, and you know, so we're really just pushing everything. So to answer your question, no, we haven't had any feedback because you're kind of the first one here to kind of hear about it outside of like the devs, you know. So
Well, you heard it first here, guys. They're literally pioneering new things for the gaming community, for this community. So make sure you guys reach out to their Patreon. I'll make sure that I have it in the description below, and over in the chat you can see the Patreon. And if you get the chance, also make sure you join the Discord so that way you can keep up with all the new stuff they're coming out with. So we're talking a lot about all this, fun stuff that we got going on here. What kind of inspired you to actually end up making this game?
so I actually wrote some stories. Um, I had a lot of time. I had about 7.5 years at one time where I just had nothing to do, twiddling my thumbs. So I sat there and wrote some books, wrote some stories, and my original concept was actually based on one of the books I wrote, and is nothing like the, the game we have now. But with great stories and art in general, things sit there and evolve over time. You get community feedback, you get feedback from other people, and just inspiration from different projects. Like Anthem was a great inspiration. Destiny did a lot of things right. There are a lot of games out there that obviously did a lot of things right, and so we have inspiration from all of those. Most things have been done in game dev. Most things have been tried. Most things have been tested, just like music, stories. At this point, most things have been attempted. And so it's about putting things together that people love, knowing what people don't like to create a great game, unique story, unique gameplay aspects, or expanding on what has already been done, perfecting it, bringing something new to it. And so that's just kind of what we've evolved into. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you wrote a book before that's nothing like this. You come up with the idea for this game. Now, how has the idea for this game, as you mentioned, being evolving? How did this game evolve since you first started? Like, how many things have like changed?
A lot. So originally there wasn't even flight in the game because originally I started and I'm self-taught on everything I knew. So I have been a truck driver for the last 8.5 years and an over-the-road truck driver. And so this actually evolved from in my semi working, I'd put in a 70-hour week because I'm able to drive 11 hours a day, and that's the max I'm able to do. And then I would put in another 30 40 hours on learning and getting to where I am knowledge wise on what I needed. And so when it started with me, I did not have the technical prowess, and to be honest, I still don't. I have to shout out to my devs and my team for that, because I am definitely an art guy, not a coder, not a gameplay writer, anything like that. It is way above my head. Map building, anything art, story wise, stuff like that, shaders, all of that I know how to do. And you don't have the time to do every single thing and learn every single thing. And so I didn't have the technical prowess to be able to do flight. I didn't have the technical prowess to do all the customization myself when I first started. And so obviously the story started with something I could do, which is basically just a single player mode, exploration, big map. You just go across the map, learning, fighting, exploring. But there was no flight. There was nothing like that until probably about 2 years later, when I was like, you know what? Let's sit there and put in flight. Let's sit there and do mechanics. Let's sit there and expand it. Mostly because Unreal Engine grew. Unreal Engine got better. but also I met some people. I met a dev. This was before my main dev now, Hector, and I sat there and was scammed by him. I actually paid a guy to sit there and put some stuff together. And this game actually went through 3 different iterations. The first one I paid a guy to do, and he took it from me. I paid him, and he just walked away with everything, didn't give me anything. That put me back about a year, but I do have videos on that one. And that was the first flight mechanic that was attempted for this project. And then about a year and a half later, I was very fortunate to sit there and meet my main dev now. And he really loves flying games. He's done flying games before. And so it really evolved from there with his help, and he's been with me since then. And so we actually did a demo that had super high fidelity graphics, super realism, and it was just a single player. And that was the second iteration that we have. I have videos for that as well, if people are interested in checking that out. And so we wanted something that just looked beautiful and breathtaking, and that was our second demo. We accomplished that, and then it evolved to having PvP, having kind of everything, all things that people want. And so we actually toned down everything. We had to sit there and evolve again. So, but that's kind of where we are today. We actually went through 3 different iterations, some scams in there, some drama, and got us to where we are now. So.
And kind of wait here. I'm sorry that kind of happened to you, but it really seems like the whole story behind this game was kind of like a Lifetime show. That's sad that you had to come across people like that, but you're very fortunate to have the team that you have now. Big shout out to the devs. You know, you guys have done incredible so far. Now you mentioned how the flight was a lot different than from other games that are like it. Now, since we're always on the topic about Anthem, because Anthem's Anthem, what is a big difference between the flight in Anthem and the flight in?
So there are a couple differences. One of the biggest differences is that Anthem, because they were on the Frostbite engine, sat there and had to obviously work with what they had, and they used VFX and post-processing to make it look like you were going fast, but you weren't really moving very fast. And you could somewhat tell that, especially if you're looking at the environment. You're not moving across the environment very, very quickly. They had to work with what they did, and it looked beautiful, obviously. That's one of the things that drew everybody to Anthem was the flight mechanic. It had never been done before, and they pretty much spot on perfected that with the technology that they had. So we actually are not using any tricks. When you get in here, you'll instantly notice a difference. You are really moving across our maps and really flying pretty quickly. It's actually very fast paced, especially in a PvP scenario. That's one of the things that we really had to work on because you're moving so fast, it's almost impossible to hit somebody, so we had to sit there and figure out exactly how to do that, how to make bullet travel and all of that in order to make it so that there's actually the ability to fight other people in here. And so yeah, we're still working on things, obviously, like animations. We actually haven't really had an animator, and so that is one thing that we've been killing ourselves about, and it has been a huge pain and something that Anthem did extremely well. They did their animations to perfection. You know what I mean? You could really feel when you landed. You could really feel the movement of each javelin, each suit was completely unique, and that's something that we are still working on. But we will get there as well.
That's pretty interesting. So I even know that whenever playing Anthem, like you said, you can kind of feel everything, but knowing that you weren't really moving all that much, it it kind of destroys the immersion a little bit. uh, Now with Anthem, whenever they are flying, you kind of have like a cooldown. You know what I mean? Like you can't fly forever. Now, the difference in your game, I think you've discussed before with me, is that you you actually fly. You're not just gliding, more or less to say. Do you want to touch a little bit on that right there?
So yes and no to what you said. We do have a mechanic in that is a battery instead of overheating. Um, you do have to somewhat limit a little bit.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're literally just going to sit there and fly across everything. Now,
Yeah.
that being said, we will have different ways to enhance your battery. So you can get different jetpacks that are more energy efficient to increase your flight speed, or your battery consumption is less. So the more exotic the backpack, the better well built it is, the longer you'll be able to fly. Enemies will drop um, energy to sit there and replenish. We'll have different things in the atmosphere as well that will help you be able to fly. But yeah, so I mean, that is one thing. There were things about Anthem that didn't make sense because there really was not a huge story of how we got the suits, why the suits work how they are, any of that stuff. And so you're just kind of thrown in with some suits, and there's no really backstory on, what these suits are, why they're needed, how we got to that point. And that's one thing that we're really emphasizing on and bringing immersion into it. So everything that we do in the story, from the battery, because we don't have the technology yet to sit there and have endless energy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so obviously things need to be powered in a certain way. We are new to this technology, which you'll see in the storyline on exactly how we got these suits, why we need the suits, how they're built, who built them. There is a central character. His name's Everett Rowe. He's a commander. He is the one that sat there and built the very first suit. And all of the suits, the different force suits, are based off of that original design. The story tells all of that, the histories of Earth, exactly how and why we need them, and all of that. So it's pretty extensive in that regard.
Now we have the flying and we have a bunch of other like really neat features. But were there any particular features that you had to cut that you wish that you could have just been like, yeah, we should really push to this, but just couldn't for whatever reason there was?
Yeah, so I love realism. So when I draw, when I do art, everything like that, realism has always been what I love. What I mean? I love just the breathtaking of, um, just the intense realism for graphics. And that is originally why our second demo and the first demo had hyper realism graphics. That is one thing that I wished we could have taken and kept. And I mean, the game is beautiful now. I love the direction we went with it, but there is a reason we went with it, and that's optimization purposes, and that we don't have a huge team to sit there and spend, a year in optimizing high fidelity graphics. And also, we have PvP, which makes it even more difficult because you need to hit certain frame rates in PvP. If it was just a storyline, 30 FPS is fine for that. But, people want 60, 120 FPS in a PvP match. They want to see that, and it's extremely hard get that with high fidelity graphics and have it on a PC that your average consumer that's going to be playing this game is going to be able to run it on. And so that is one thing that I wish, we were able to do, but, cuts had to sit there and be made, allowances had to be made for this type of game that we really wanted to bring to the consumer. And so we took realism and just made it stylized realism. Kind of like what we talked about along the lines of Horizon Zero Dawn and Avatar. So
we talk about that, and you're saying to make sure to have the average consumer be able to play it. Now, what kind of like system requirements are people gonna need to like actually play this? Because not everybody obviously is gonna have like a high-end computer to be able to play this.
yes, good question. We have optimized a ton, and so one thing that we want to do is bring it to console, and we have it set up already optimization wise that it can play on a PS5 and a Xbox Series X. We have tested it on a handheld, so called the Ally ROG. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as power output, it is quite a bit less powerful than a console. And I run it and test it on that all the time. I went to a con 2 weekends ago and actually had it out of dock with a monitor and a mouse and keyboard on it, and it was the brain behind the computer, and it actually crashed less times than the 5080 computer I had showcasing it. And so, it will play on a potato. And so that's really what we wanted to showcase, that we are wanting to put it on console. We are wanting to put it on PC. The bad thing about consoles is that Sony and Microsoft are the powerhouses behind that, and you have to pay for that. So
Yeah, that's expensive.
yeah, and I mean it's we can sit there and hop in and really get in there and showcase that as well.
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
want.
Yeah, absolutely. You just tell me where I need to go, and we can get into the nitty gritty.
Okay. So down at the bottom we go game modes.
Okay.
PvP.
Okay. Ooh.
Yep. So here showcases we'll have a bunch of different PvP. We'll also have a section that's PvE. So for like strikes, all co-op type matches. And so over to the left is the Fracture, and that is the mode that we have now. It is a treasure hunt type map, but also PvP. So people are trying to kill you while you have an objective. So if you click on Fracture,
Ooh, I like that.
so you'll be able to choose whatever class you want: Brute, Mag, Pathfinder, Cloaker. It is locked into right now because we're just kind of showcasing right now.
Yeah.
So your different abilities, you have an ordnance ability and a utility. You also have an ultimate and a class ability. You'll also your two main guns, your main and your secondary, your primary and secondary, sorry, are down at the bottom, and then there's a ready to play. So once you click whatever character you want, let me know.
I'm just gonna stick with the Pathfinder. I've been hearing good things about it.
Okay. We do have a couple people that are going to be joining us in here, so if
Awesome.
everybody's ready, I will count down, and when I say go, we will click ready to play, and it'll put us in the queue. Everybody ready?
Nippers.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Click it. Go. You should see leave queue down there, so we are in the queue. You should see up in the upper right, ready to join and looking for match. Now it's switched to waiting for match.
I really do like how it shows off on the side. You can see your weapons, and you can see exactly what like all your, so you can see what your ordnance is, what your utility is, and you kind of have your setup like right there. You can see what you're going in with. That's kind of
Yeah,
that's kind of neat.
we do have a bunch of different abilities for each class, but we just really wanted to showcase right now just a couple of them. But eventually, you will be able to click on those abilities and swap them out for whichever ones you want. Yep, I'm the other Pathfinder with you here. So,
Oh, nice.
so this is the lobby. Eventually, we will be able to come in here for the PvP. This will be the PvP lobby. We have a store in here. We have weapons. We have different suits, different areas that you'll be able to explore, and then you'll be able to go to the console over here and log in. So you'll be able to come in here with your friends and everybody log into a match at the same time. And get that, but right now it's not hooked up for all of that yet. So
That's I really like this one, especially like how you got the hologram up there in the center. Now, is that gonna be anything specific, or is that just there to kind of show off?
it's yeah, just to showcase Perth and everything. It will be interactive with whatever mode you pick, or wherever you go. It'll showcase different areas because we'll have 5 different biomes on Earth that are open world maps that you'll be able to explore. So it'll kind of interact with that on which area you choose. It'll highlight. So now, where are you? Are you in here?
Yeah, I'm in here. I'm down below. I'm just kind of actually looking at the terrain you guys got going on here, because everything looks so so cool.
Okay, let me see if I can find you. Okay, so just breakdown of controls real quick. If you hit V, I can't see you right now, so let me know when you do it. It'll instantly put you into hover.
Oh yeah.
If you hit it again, you'll land.
Okay.
If you hit spacebar, that's jump. Double spacebar is double jump.
I think I see somebody over here. I don't know if that's you or not.
I am on the bridge system, kind of in the middle of the map.
I'm right beside Powerhouse.
Oh, he was over flying. I think keep up this way.
Tell you what, like these buildings like look really good too. Is there now, like with this huge map, is there anything particular like about this map, like oh, showing off some of the emotes, I like that. Yep, there you are.
Yep, you want to finish the question? Are there any?
Yeah. So I'm looking around this map and I see like you have like floating things going on up there. Is those actual like objects that we can like stand on, or is that just?
No, everything in here you can go and explore. So.
Huh.
Okay, so real quick, let's run down the rest of the abilities. So, G is grenade.
Okay. Awesome.
Right now we have 2 different. So you have a frost grenade, and there's a burning grenade, which here I'll toss over here, that you can see. Oops. Very Powerhouse. So as you saw, it does target and does lock on to different opponents in here. The reason we did that is because you're flying so fast, it's pretty much impossible to lob a grenade at someone and actually hit them. So you see he threw that. Now, if you don't, there still is some skill, so you can't just like lob it and it'll just target someone. There is like a 3-second window that like he just threw it over there and there's no target anywhere near him, so it's not gonna lock onto anyone.
Okay.
So there is still some skill. You can't just, throw a grenade every 3 seconds and it's gonna be hitting people. That's not how it's gonna work. Okay, so we got double jump. Cycling your weapons is if you scroll back on your mouse wheel It'll cycle your weapons. Defensive ability, each class up, you just dodge. So rolling up on your scroll wheel is your defensive ability.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, what just happened?
Yep.
Ah.
So each class has a defensive ability.
Okay.
Ours for the Pathfinder is if you're targeted, and you'll see it. So I will tab target you.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
When an ability goes and attacks you and gets within a certain range, you'll have a bloom on your screen that will sit there and warn you. If you sit there and scroll and use your defensive ability, before it hits you, you will dodge and it gives you your defensive ability. For us, it's healing. For the mag, he teleports and it puts a shield on him. Here, Hector, I know you're watching right now. So if you look at the mag real quick.
Yep, I'm looking at him.
You see how he's dodging? Yep, and do you see his shield?
Yeah.
So his put a bubble shield on him. That's his defensive ability. And then if he targets me, or you, yep, if you dodge. Oh,
no, it just killed me. I tried.
So did you see the bloom?
I did, yeah.
On your screen.
I kind of did it a little late.
Yeah, it takes some skill to get used to, but for us, it sits there and creates a healing factor that helps heal us. So.
I'll make my way back down to you guys now. Ooh,
for the other classes, oh yeah, so if you land, so if you fly up and then I come down and land next to you, it does an AoE.
Oh, that's
damage. So, yep, so you can either do that or you can sit there and not have to and just land normal. So in order to fly, you can either V to hover, or if you move forward, jump and hit shift, or if you just look up and hit forward and shift, you will take off and start flying.
Oh, okay, so there's like multiple ways that you can.
Yes.
Huh.
Yep, so if you jump and fly, if you hit V, hover and fly, you do not need to hold shift. Once you're fast flying, you are fast flying until you hit shift again, and that will automatically make you hover. So if you want to give that a try.
So, okay. Jump up and then, oh, okay. Ah.
Yep, and then shift over it too. And then if you just land, so if you just touch down.
Yeah. I'm terrible at that. So you just gotta touch.
So if you just
okay.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Yep, there it is. I see the healing. Yep.
Now, for us, each class has a class ability as well that you can do. So for us, what type of keyboard do you have right now?
I got a regular 100%. It's a Razer.
Do you have the number pad?
Oh yeah. It's 100%. I got the number pad. Yeah.
Okay, so either the plus sign on the number pad or X. You'll see down on the bottom right of your corner, there's a little companion. It will cycle through its modes.
Oh.
So aggressive is it will actively seek enemies, like the closest enemy to you, and attack them. Focus will sit there and focus on just like a single enemy. Supportive is your healing. And then passive is just kind of sitting there, hanging out. Defending, it'll sit there and stay next to you and attack.
Now, I'm assuming that it does got a cooldown for your companion, right? Or is that just something you guys just decided to keep? Really? Huh.
So his class ability is his companion. It's something very unique. So if you hit F, what mode do you have it in?
I just got it in passive. I didn't want to. Yeah.
Okay. No, do aggressive.
Oh.
See how he's attacking me now?
Yeah. Okay, so he just so like no matter what, like he just goes by himself and he has no clue. He's just active at all times. That's
Yep. Now if you hit
yeah.
F again, he will attach. So for Pathfinder, it's extremely unique because if you have him off, you cannot fly.
Yes.
So you have to attach him, unattach him, and go back and forth between utility and maneuverability. Whereas the other classes don't have that restriction. But they also don't have the utility of the Pathfinder, so...
So, like if you're in air and you decided to detach him, I'm guessing you're just falling out of the air, right? Or is that
Yep,
just...
so
okay.
follow me real quick. I'm just gonna go straight up.
Alright.
Now if you hit F...
Oh. And you can attach in mid-air. That is...
Yep, it creates some nice cinematic options so you can free fall and then attach and go flying. It's also a lot of strategy too, because someone could sit there and be tailing you and it changes your direction very rapidly. So instead of, you could be mid-flight going forward and detach, and now you're falling and changing directions for flight. It's something unique for the Pathfinder.
Huh. Yeah, that's a pretty good way. So I mean, like Pathfinder, you kind of got to be a little bit sneaky with the Pathfinder in a way. Like you got to really be. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're doing. He's got a lot of utility and abilities, but with the restriction of maneuverability, he is extremely powerful on the ground. Whereas you don't have as much or any of that utility while flying, and so that is a disadvantage.
So, what about some of the other classes? We started talking about those, and I think I cut you off.
Yep. So we have a brute, which is over here, right next to you.
Okay.
And a mag in here with us. And each of them have different abilities, different gameplay styles. So the brute, Chaos, if you'll sit there and hit me with your graviton ability here. So he uses an ability that kind of traps you, and I am stuck in it if you get in it. You get stuck in there, and it kind of makes you easy pickings. And then he has a laser, which just did a ton of damage to me. Let me heal real quick. Oh, you just wanna kill me. That's not nice. Well, I got my companion on supported, but he is not killing. Up there he goes. So yeah, that was the brute, and then the mag has a ball of energy that kind of follows you like a fireball. Oh. And tracks you and just kind of follows you around, see?
Yeah.
Dealing damage. And then some arcane missiles.
So, the mag almost seems like he's like a sorcerer in a way.
Yes, this is his ultimate right here.
Oh man.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
He can also change his elements. So, he's got a flame, which is like a, torch. Flamethrower. Did you see that?
Yep.
and he can change it so instead of flame, he can do ice or electricity.
So he's a little bit of like the master of the elements in a way.
Yes. Yep, he uses a chaos engine, which allows him to bend elements. Each class has their own energy that's used to build and fuel their abilities. The Pathfinder is nuclear-based, the Mag is chaos-based, the Cloaker is spectrum-based engine, and the Brute is a graviton engine, which that's why he uses gravity blasts and everything like that. The Cloaker is able to bend the spectrum, so he's able to go invisible. He uses light and shadows. We use a lot of nuclear, a lot of explosives, and blowing stuff up. And then the Mag uses a lot of elemental abilities.
I'll tell you what, like this thing moves pretty smooth too. When you guys get a chance, I mean, make sure you jump into Discord, figure out how you can get yourself a game code. And you guys, like, how often do you guys do testing, or like play testing for this?
Well, so right now, every weekend, we will have the servers on all weekend. So right now, because it is multiplayer, you do have to have multiple people in. So you need at least 2 people to come in and test, but the servers are on all weekend, so.
But there you guys heard it. I mean, if you guys want to try out this for yourself, you get in there and make sure you also go to the Patreon and, you know, help these guys out a bit, because what they're doing here is just absolutely incredible. Like, this world, I mean, just this map alone, it looks like there's just so much that's going on with it. Like
yeah, not only
terrain's
can you
beautiful.
go up, but if you see the crevice, you can actually go all the way down into the fracture here as well.
Oh my. That's just amazing. You can go the whole way up and damn near the whole way down, and you can either fight on the ground, on air, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes, that is something that maps are one of the you know, most difficult for a flying game, because most games you don't ever see the tops of buildings or have to actually put things up that you can reach in the air.
no, you don't.
And so most games just have X and Y axis. We have to take into account the Z axis as well, so up and down trenches, floating objects that you can explore and see, all of that have to be optimized and able to be explored. So that's one reason that Anthem put that storm in there, which is basically just a fancy invisible wall. Whereas in our open world, we're not going to have that. We actually have an immersive way to sit there and keep you from going to space. So you'll actually, there's 3 different flight height zones. There is like up to 5,000 feet is your normal fly zone. That's your normal abilities. That's just flying around above the buildings, floating objects, rocks, stuff like that. From 5 to 10,000 feet is your overland flight system zone, and that is basically above the clouds, and that gives you unlimited energy and also a boost to your speed, so you can really fly across the open world maps. Anthem had it where you had little spawn zones that you could load into, whereas we're not doing that. We're actually doing a way where you can sit there and overland travel. Instead of having to teleport, you're just able to move really quickly across the map. And then from 10,000 to 15,000 feet, you will start hitting space, you know, for warning purposes. And just like in Iron Man, you know, you've seen the Iron Man movie?
Yep.
Where his suit starts to freeze up because he's not made to go into space. that is what will, in essence, happen to our suits. So if you continue going towards space, instead of just having an invisible wall, we actually have a system that will be in place where your suit starts freezing over because you're not made to go into space, and you'll start getting warnings, and then your suit will freeze, and it will actually drop you back into the normal fly zone, and you'll be able to resume. Your suit will thaw out, and you'll be able to continue play. So it is a way of restricting you from being able to go, too far and limit you, but we really didn't want to break the immersive feel of the gameplay and the world exploration, and so it's just more of a scientific way and a realistic way of, why can't you go there?
I mean, definitely, it definitely allows you to have, like you said, a more immersive way of, while you're flying. Yeah, we know how these things work, especially, like how Anthem did it, with the storm and stuff. But the way how you guys did it, it definitely, it puts you in the feel of, oh, well, I can do this only if I wasn't limited by, technology, more or less, and the storyline. I like the way how you guys did that.
I do want you, if you would, so one of the things we really had to adapt to is you're moving so fast that it's hard to completely target, or almost impossible to hit somebody. So if you actually, we have a tab targeting in, so if you tab, you'll kind of slightly lock on to someone. And so that just makes it a little bit easier to sit there and keep track of somebody while flying, because we're moving so fast. You can also test out your abilities. So Q is a locked on ability, which throws out some grenades that go toward the person. And if you stay there long enough, they charge up and explode. And then E, your companion will actually come out and target and shoot me with some lasers.
Okay, so I just killed you. I'll go ahead real quick.
Yep. And then in order to, you see that one actually takes your companion off of your back. And so in order to resume flying after using that, you have to make sure that you reattach him with F.
You can do that in air. You can use that ability in air too.
Yes. The only downside to using that one in air is that you start falling because your companion is off.
Yeah.
So. Okay, another thing is, where'd you go?
I'm still right here.
Each class has an ultimate. The Pathfinder actually has 2 ultimates. One is ground-based ultimate, and the other is in flight. So on the ground, your companion will go out and basically do an AoE nuke, which is actually pretty cool. I will, Hector, if you go over a little bit, go back. I want to get so that you get this on screen. Nope, stay over here. Stay behind me.
Oh, okay, behind you. Oh, okay.
Yep, I want you to get it captured. So if we do the ultimate here.
Wow, that thing's insane. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's funny that you died, but neither of the other 2 died.
That's just, I'm just a human meat shield, man. that's
so if you're on the ground, it does that. Now, the way you do it is control or clicking your mouse wheel in. So if we actually go in the air here, and you come over here.
Yep.
Okay, so while you're flying around me, just kind of do loops around me, and use your ultimate, and you'll see the other ultimate.
And which button did you say I had to push for that?
Click your mouse wheel.
Oh, okay, just click them out.
Yep, and then fly around. And you see, so yours sends out little drones that target and attach to people and then blow them up. So.
That's kind of that's really neat right there. Now I'm seeing a
If you
lot
guys
of.
will go
Yep.
back to the ground real quick. Um, Ghost, do you have your ultimate? If you can show him yours. So this is the Brute ultimate. It does basically a graviton bomb, and it sits there and
Wow.
basically sucks in on itself. So, and he can spam that. So ours is just a one-time use. They actually get a couple shots if they do it quick enough. Same with the mag. He can use his in a couple of different AoE areas as well. The Cloakers is an area where he basically moves extremely fast and accelerates between enemies and melees all of them in the area. So he flits between enemies, dealing damage with his axes.
That's just crazy. Some of these abilities that you guys come up with, was there anything that kind of like put you in mind of how to do these certain ultimates? Is there anything you kind of took inspiration or was it just like, oh hey, this would be cool, you know?
A lot of them were, hey, this would be kind of cool, but for the Cloaker, there's actually a Marvel Rivals ability the Psylocke does, where she kind of flits between enemies, and that was an inspiration that we took for that one. Eventually, depending on what path and tree you choose, that will determine your ultimate. So we'll have a bunch of different ultimates that each class will be able to use, and whichever one you like most, you'll be able to do.
Yeah.
So, oh no, graviton bomb.
It seems to me like a lot of these just seem like they're just insane, and I can just imagine when you're in like a high intense like battle with like multiple people, how crazy it could just get in here. And
it gets crazy. That's why I called it an energy bar, because it gets pretty adrenaline rushing in here with a ton of people. Like, it is wild.
Oh, now I see these little things that keep dropping. They like these little yellow, blue, green and blue boxes. You want to touch on that a little bit, like what those?
Yeah, so this mode is PvP, but it is a treasure hunt mode. So each of these boxes, you're set out with 5, and they're randomized. So on the right of your screen, down below the timer,
Yep.
there are clues, and you'll see like 2 red, 1 blue, 2 green. Each of these boxes is a clue. So if you go through one of them, it will sit there and reduce the amount that you need. So actually, which ones do you need? How many more do you need?
I think I need, I'm seeing 3 green and 1 blue.
Okay, so pick this green one up right here.
Okay.
And then follow me. There's another green one right here. Okay, you need 1 more. No, now you need blue, right?
Yeah, well, I need 1 more green and 1 more blue, and that'll be all 5 blues.
All right, here's green right here. Okay, now you should have seen on your in-flight weapon unlocked.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if you sit there and follow me in fast flight and actually try to shoot me now.
Okay,
Just click like you're shooting. Yep. So that's your in-flight weapon now.
wow, okay.
So while you're, when you collect 5, it unlocks your in-flight weapon, which allows you to actually dogfight now.
Huh.
Okay, now you need 1 blue, right?
Yes. Yep, one blue.
Alright, there's one here. Follow me. Now, they are randomized. They're randomly spawned across the map, so it's not like every single time they're in the exact same place. So you do actually have to go around and look. Alright, so let's see. Here's a blue right here.
Yep.
Now,
Okay.
you have all 5, so
Yep.
there should be a location on the map now that you see an indicator. Go toward that indicator.
I don't think I'm seeing anything up in the mini map yet. Scout area
No,
first.
so just look.
What's that?
Just look around. Just look around the map instead of the mini map. Just look
Oh,
around the map. And
okay.
you'll see a blue beacon or an icon that you need to go toward.
Up a little bit higher here. Seeing a lot of blue stuff. I'm just not seeing.
No, there should be just an icon on your map that you see. A target that is you're supposed to go toward. A blue, like a square. Blue icon.
I'm honestly not seeing something unless I'm blind. If any of you guys in the stream see.
Here, let me find my clues real quick. And I'll take you toward it. Let me get 2 reds. I can't see your screen, so.
Oh, okay.
Alright, my weapon is unlocked. Okay, so I have all of mine. Okay, so there's a blue square on your screen, down toward the ground, in one of the corners. Where are you at? Where'd you go?
I'm not far from where we just were. I can go up higher if need.
Okay, so you see me?
Yep.
So look where I'm shooting. See that tall building right there?
Yep.
Behind it is a blue square. It says 614 meters.
Yeah, I don't have
You see
anything
it?
like that. No, it doesn't show on here for me.
Did you get all of your clues?
Yep. I'm seeing right now it says treasure hunt, scout the area to find the digital asset first.
Yeah. So, real quick, stop.
Okay.
Do you see a blue grid pattern in here in a circle?
Over here.
Like if you're on the ground, do you see a blue
Hold
checker
on one
pattern?
No. Nope.
That's interesting. Yours must be glitching out.
Yeah, I don't see nothing like that. I don't have anything. Like I said, when it comes to bad luck, like I'm the guy for it. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Well,
like...
so in here, it basically takes you to a spot in a grid, and in the circle somewhere, where are you?
I'm still right down here at the grid.
Okay, so come here, follow me.
Where you at? Up here. I'm following somebody.
Nope, okay. I'm up here.
Oh. I just locked on. I'm with...
Alright, you know where the grid pattern is? Come up.
Oh, okay, yep.
There's 2 of us here.
Yep.
3 of us? Okay. Follow me.
Okay, now
Basically,
I'm
what
seeing a
you're
grid
trying to-
pattern. I'm seeing a grid pattern
Yes.
around a wall.
Yep. What you're trying to find is this, where we're shooting. Do you see
Oh,
it?
yep. I see the blue
cube?
thing right there. Yep.
Okay, that is the asset that we are trying to get. So go ahead and hop into it, move through it.
Okay. Okay, so now that I have this match ending a player holding absent. Okay, that's interesting. So I'm guessing this is at the point where like I need to like run away and like not be caught, or somebody else can pick the asset up, right?
Yes. Yeah, sorry, my headset disconnected. So if you see on the right, your timer,
Yep.
your timer went down to 5 minutes now. So the last person with that asset wins. So now it becomes survival and the last man standing, basically.
Oh.
So
Okay, so I need to run away. Ooh. Ah! Oh yeah, that's nice stun. Gaming with Coop. Yeah, I tell you what, it's absolutely insane. Creator needs to hurry up and make it for console. You know, I'm sure that he wants to, Coop. But right now, like the biggest thing that he needs is a lot of support from the community as much as possible. And yeah, if he can get that, I'm sure they'll be trying to shoot and bringing it to a console as soon as possible. Sergeant Moose, how's it going? Yeah.
For console, you actually need a dev kit to port it over, and the research I've done is saying it's about like $10,000 to $15,000 for it.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate that is. I'm still researching it and doing it, but it is something that we plan to do. But obviously, we do not have the funds to be able to do that right now. So.
Need to get as across the look this and get you guys some more traction. Absolutely. If that's something that you guys want to bring up, by all means, make sure that you guys, you know, go out there, just, you know, spread the word, let them know, you know. Come check out the videos, you know, they can check out the live stream if they have questions. Don't forget they also have a Patreon. Yeah, they got a YouTube channel.
Discord, where I mean we are everywhere. So
if you want a link to their Discord, guys, make sure you just click on the Discord link in the chat. That link is straight to their Discord. You guys can get in there. I'm part of Discord already. I'm trying to get him and his community to... Absolutely, yeah. Like, this is probably one of the more games that I've been excited about in a long time. And I'll tell you what, guys, it is smooth. So smooth. And it's hard to find games that you can get into and... Sergeant Moose, how's it going, buddy? Not the creator about it all. Just need some big audience. YouTuber get involved. It's hard because they all stuck on the games that. You know what? And yeah, unfortunately, that is the truth. A lot of these big gamers, like they just want AAA games. You know, they don't want to jump into something like this because they're scared. You know what I mean? I'd love to try it. Is there going to be a beta?
So we are doing a different type of model. Obviously, you can get in and try it now, but instead of doing where most games do, where we create the full game and then allow you guys to come in whether you like it or not. We are trying to do, instead of just a beta or an alpha, you're actually able to get your hands on it now and get it. Oh, did you seriously kill me at the last second? You lucky. Yeah, so we're trying to get everybody involved from the very beginning. So you're able to get in and grow with the game while we build the game. And so you're able to get your hands on it now. There's not just a alpha or a beta release at one time. We'll have that for every single mode. And so you'll be able to be involved in every single play mode. You'll be able to test it with us, get in here, ask questions, actually change it if we like it or don't like certain things. And so that is the mode we're going. It's a lot more of a community involvement mode instead of just, we do what we want kind of thing. So
Absolutely. Like I said, make sure you guys, support's a big thing with these games, especially come from an indie developer. They don't have as much support as some of these, AAA titles do. But I've found out in the recent years, and I'm pretty sure you'd agree with me, Sergeant Moose, that a lot of these AAA games have been falling off the last couple years, and it's nice to see that something new and something fresh is coming, and being able to be a part of that to start out with. I think it makes the game more enjoyable, and you get to know the community a lot better.
if you'll click new match real quick,
Yep.
it'll just send us into a new match. Instead of having to go back out, it'll just take the people that were in there and just put them all in a new match. So we also have a feature, if you get kicked and you log back in and the match is still going, it'll automatically ask you if you want to continue the match that you were just in and bring you back into the same match.
Yeah, Coop, I agree 100% with you. Destiny, when it first started, it was fun. It was funner than they started getting. Games are expensive. We all know it. But there's to a point that you can't make everybody happy, and kind of like how Anthony, you spoke about it. It's all about the majority and trying to give the community of what they want, but without going too much.
Yeah, most gaming companies, they turn into, we're just going to do kind of what we want instead of a majority. Like, they don't sit there and listen to the community as much anymore. It all becomes a money show for them, and obviously, like you said, money is important in development, but your community is what gives you that support and that money. That's who you're doing it for. So if you don't take the advice of the community, what's the amount of money matter? Because you're going to lose the community, which means you're going to lose the support, which means you're not going to have any money anyway.
Yep.
So
man, this looks AAA. That's what Moose just said. So are you guys are still improving on some graphics, aren't you? Like, you guys are, or is it like we're not final yet, obviously, but you guys are still improving on consistently.
Absolutely. One of the things that we want to improve on is chaos physics as well. So you'll have destructible environments in here. If you shoot a building, the building will crumble. It'll actually interact with you, all of that. So, but a lot of that takes a lot of optimization, and optimization means a lot of time for an entire team that is just dedicated to optimizing the game. And so, in order to put all of that in, we just need to get to that point.
The same. The Moose says, looks like the same flight mechanics in Hover as Anthem. Moose, you weren't here before, but if Anthony, if you want to kind of like re-go kind of about what you guys changed. guys kind of want to explain a little bit about that, touch back on it again?
Yeah, so there are obviously similarities to Anthem. Any type of flight game that you're gonna do, they pioneered it. So everything is gonna look, even if you just put flight in your game, it's gonna look like Anthem. You know, one thing that they did, though, that we didn't have to do is we didn't have to fake the flight. They used a lot of VFX and trickery with post-processing to make it look like you're flying fast, where we, with Unreal Engine, didn't have to do that. So you were actually moving really fast in our game. One thing they also did was their animations. They did really well. That is one thing that we haven't had an animator, so we've just had to use basic animations. But eventually each class will look completely different with their animations and unique. Another thing, I don't know how often you've played Anthem, but I was actually surprised. Their hover isn't fully directional hover. You can go up, you can go down, but you can't go in all directions. We can. Oh my goodness, I just got ultimated.
So I'm playing as the cloaker right now, and I'm seeing that there's some really like interesting. I see he's got twin axes.
Yeah, so his main ability is melee. So instead of having two guns that you can swap between, you have melee and a gun. So if you actually aim down sights, it'll pull a gun, but you have to hold the aim down sight and then you can fire it. The moment you let go, you go back to melee. So he is a melee-based character, and a lot of his abilities sit there and target and trap people so that you can get in close and use that melee. And he's extremely deadly. If you double dodge, he will actually go invisible as well. So that allows you to sneak up on people.
Yeah, I think there's a graphics issue on my side because he's like still completely invisible. I think I went invisible and did something. I think I messed up your game.
Yeah, where are you? Oh, you're in the fracture.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not in a fracture. I'm up here.
Oh, that's powerhouse. I thought you had the acid.
No, I'm actually just kind of showcasing off this cloaker right here. Now there's some interesting. So I see that there's a lot of these lock-ons that he has that you kind of have to be in sight just to do.
Yeah, the cloaker is very up close and personal. And so in order to really get that going and the ability, you had to be able to trap enemies so that you can keep them from moving.
Oh yeah. I love that. I absolutely love the idea of that being those two axes just going ham on it. Destroyed. Yeah, if you get a chance, Moose, definitely go and go check it out. Like they got a bunch of videos on their YouTube channel. You guys, how often are you guys posting on there?
now we're posting a little more often on there and Instagram. I'm doing all of the posting and everything, but now that we're in testing, I'm making a lot more videos again, and so we'll be putting a lot more on there as we go.
So, Gaming with Coop says, got an interesting idea for a class. Paladin, which is like cleric, if you get me. Low armor, high health healer. Then is about healing and maybe vampirism abilities. Would be a cool idea.
Yeah, so if you join our Discord, all of that will be able to be talked about and put in front of everybody for different classes, different abilities. All of that is involved with the community.
So you may have mentioned this, and I apologize if you did, but is this going to work as live service model, like living world events, etc., or is it going to be everything in a box type game? I actually didn't touch on that, Sergeant Moose.
Explain what exactly you're meaning on that, as in like live service. So, I'm not exactly familiar with the term.
So I'm assuming what he's referring to as live service is it going to be like an active world? Are there actively going to be random timed events popping up? Is there going to be like time limited subquests that pop up, you know, like there might be an enemy every type stuff like that?
Yeah, so one of the models we're basing kind of some gameplay off of is like Destiny. So the way they built their world, their public events, all of that is kind of the model we're going after, except instead of just little maps, because Destiny isn't a real open world, they are pretty small maps that you get to explore. So we are doing actual huge open world maps with.
Now, events. Are you guys gonna have like any types of events that's gonna transpire? Like, are you guys gonna have like these limited time events? Like, oh, well, this is only gonna be for, we'll say, like 60 days or whatever. Like, you can go out and you can farm this particular part or this cosmetic or whatnot. Oh.
Yeah, so we're gonna have like Christmas events, Halloween events, all of that, which will include like armor sets, different things that you can get and collect during those events. Yeah, so we will have all of that. We're planning on it. So.
Coop says, like healing others based off your damage. I'm in Discord. I just thought of it now. My name is Matt. Well, nice to meet you, Matt. Thanks for being in the Discord.
Did anyone else get booted?
I got the boot. Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Our world boss is going to be a thing like in Diablo, etc.
World bosses, so like in Anthem, where a Titan spawned.
Is that what you're referring to, Coop? Yeah, I like that.
So, real quick, when you log back in, it'll ask you to reconnect. Just go ahead and reconnect.
Yep, that's what I just did.
That is what he was asking, though. But like.
Yeah, like yeah. So I'm assuming like anything that's like bosses that you can get out there into the open world and face somebody that, you know what I mean, like that's more overpowered. Yeah, like Titans and whatnot.
Yes, we will have. Those are basically just the public events. So they will be just randomized giant creatures that will sit there and come out that you defeat. And you can do it with your team. Anyone on the map can join in and do it, or you can do it by yourself.
Moose says, tell me there's a tank. You know I like my tanks. You know, Moose, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Because there is in fact a tank. There is 4 types of characters that you can have right now. The Brute would be your tank. The Cloaker, Pathfinder, and Mag. And we just found out earlier that there is actually going to be an additional character in at some point. And the name, yeah, it's going to be the Valkyrie. Oh, I know you like your tanks. Yeah, when you get a chance, Moose, go back and we did a breakdown of the characters, and I think you're gonna like the some of the Brute's abilities. Now something
the
else.
Brute also has
go ahead.
Has a defensive ability. It's a refraction shield, or reflection shield, and so like when you're targeted with the Pathfinder, how you heal, his actually sits there and reflects half the damage back on the target and heals the other half. So
Ooh, that's kind of sick. Something else I wanted to ask. Now, in a lot of games, you usually see that there's only certain weapons that certain people can use, right? Now, we'll take Anthem since we've used it as, you know, before. Like, they can only use certain heavy weapons. Now, in EV2, are there any weapons that's only bound for specific characters, or just is it open game for everybody?
It's open game for everybody. The Brute does have a cannon on his shoulder, but that's just the Brute with his abilities. However, each class will be able to interact with environmental challenges differently. So, say turrets. The Pathfinder will be able to hack the turret and use it for himself. The Brute will be able to smash it and pull it off and actually use the gun himself. So each character will have unique interactive gameplay elements in the world. One of the things I always say is like a door. So say the door, the moment you come close to it, it shuts and locks. So the Cloaker will be able to bypass it by going invisible because it can't see him. The Mag will be able to teleport through the door. The Valkyrie will be able to phase through the door. The Brute will be able to just smash through the door. And the Pathfinder will be able to hack the door. So each of them will have their own unique elements, but will all be able to equally get across certain obstacles. My jetpack is not attaching. Will somebody come down into the crevice and kill me, please? There's a glitch going on.
Yeah, just remember, guys, this game's still like they are in the play testing phase, so nothing's permanent. A lot of things that you might see now are gonna change heavily over time. There's gonna be plenty of things that I'm assuming that's gonna be added. You know, most of your designs, I'm assuming, is really gonna kind of stick the same. You're not really gonna change, like, you know, the characters up too much. You might like improve the you know, little things here and there, but you're not gonna outright just completely change all of them? Or is that something that you're hoping to kind of just improve more, or?
No, the characters are pretty much the characters we have. The environment, the style,
Mm-hmm.
with the actual like art style is what we're going with. Things that would change would be like the buildings would be more crumbled instead of being entirely whole. That is one thing. We had to use some different assets and everything from limited resources. So we would rather have, instead of a whole building where levels are crumbled out, smashed, that you can actually go in and explore. We'll also have chaos physics in, so you can actually destroy all of the buildings, um, stuff like that. Actual gameplay and mechanics are basically what we have. You know, they're working. We can always perfect them and tweak them, but nothing's gonna be just like completely changed as far as the suit setup or anything like that.
Oh yeah, that's something I want to try. I want to get a stand up here. And that's something else that we talked about earlier too, guys. Like me personally, I didn't think that you could come clear up here and stand up, but you can literally come clear up here and just stand on these small floating islands. Like that's just outright amazing.
That's one
Everything
thing we
feels
really,
real.
yeah, that's one thing we really wanted to do is if you can see it, you can go to it. And why wouldn't you be able to? You're able to fly up there, so.
That's just incredible. And just looking out here, like it's absolutely breathtaking. Do you guys have any plans for a future to do like open world PvP, or are you just like really just we're gonna keep those separate? Oh,
I wanted to keep them separate. I wanted the experiences of, if you want to be in PvP, you can do that, and there's a place for that. If you want to be just team-based and in strikes, you can do that. If you want to go in by yourself and just do the game mode and really focus on the story and exploration, you can do that.
love what I'm seeing so far. Love the atmosphere. It feels nostalgic and fresh at the same time. It really does, Moose. You know, just there's just so much that just seems like there's going on. And I love how you can, like, if you want to get down there into the crevice, like we can go down into this crevice. Like there's no like wall saying, oh well you're out of zone, this and that. No, you can go clear down here to the crevice. You can touch the bottom. Right? And if we decide, hey, you know, I want to go up super high, like you can go up as high as, you know, you're allowed to, with, you know, some restraints, but that's because of the technology, you know, and in the story, you know. It's just it's incredible. And you can see, even, you know, you can see beyond the map how everything just feels like it's alive out there. Yeah, this is happening right here, but there's still more that's going on at the outside. A true open world, a lot of games that throw that word around, but they don't truly feel open. And yeah, that you're exactly right about that. Anthony, I know that we talked a little bit about, you know, true open world. You want to touch on that a little bit and, you know, kind of explain to us how, like, how much open world are we actually looking at with this game?
So It's not gonna be like where you can explore the entire planet, open world. You know, a lot of the games that do that are all procedurally generated,
Mm-hmm.
and the technology really isn't there completely yet for that without using it. And what you sit there and get into with that is a lot of repetitive stuff. So things may look different, but it's all the exact same things, and you can tell. You'll do a dungeon or a cave system that's procedurally generated, and you know you've seen that exact same mechanic, that exact same play before on like a different world or a different planet, and we really don't want to do that. Um, that shotgun is OP. And so we will have, so say Earth, we'll have huge maps that will be pretty much open world. You'll be able to explore them, go wherever you want, and do whatever you want. But there will be 5 different massive maps that you can explore. So different biomes, different areas. One will be mountains, one will be desert, one will be an environment like this, like a jungle, cities to explore inside of it, all of that. So as far as like a completely actual real go wherever you want on the planet, it's just not there yet, if that
No,
answers your question.
no, and you know what? Honestly, you don't have to have something like I think whenever we try to explain open world, I think it's the thing the most that we get confused about that is that a game doesn't have to be completely open world, but it has to feel like it's alive. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And
Oh, and it will.
I think that's what, you know, like a lot of us are looking forward to, because, you know, even though like quote on you know, open world games, like how you explained, you know, it just feels like, you know, it gets to be mundane.
Yeah.
And this kind of feels like there's like a whole lot that's just really going on. And I mean, I'm liking it. Like, you just feel whenever you're in there moving around, like, hey, this is what's going on, and it's incredible.
You know, one thing that we are able to do, let's if we can
Yeah,
exit out, so
hell yeah.
we'll go to main menu. So but one thing that we do have going for us is normally a game has, like we said, the X and Y axis, right?
Yeah.
And then you create, say, an 8K map, which is a massive map, by the way, 8 kilometer by 8 kilometer map, and you know it feels massive. Well, ours feels even way more massive because we actually have the z-axis as well, so we can create fissures that create more space to explore. We can create up in the clouds a city up there that you can explore, or floating islands that you can go on and explore. And so even on just that 8K map, there is way more opportunity to explore, which makes the map feel massive. This map that we're on now feels humongous, even though it's not a very big map. You know, it's only a 1K map. It's not a massive map, but when you add in the z-axis, being able to go down into the crevice, being able to fly up in above the buildings and rooftops and all of that, you now make the map feel way bigger because there's just a lot more space to explore. So
Absolutely. I like the idea of handcrafted world because the thing you sacrifice for procedural generation is details. Everything starts to feel the same, and it's true.
yeah. Do you want to? People weren't here before. Do you want to customize a weapon real quick?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be awesome. So we go to the smithy, go to a weapon.
Yep. Then just go to like the first weapon.
Okay. and then we can just do anything.
So right now it's locked based on like bits, so you have to actually unlock different
Oh,
um,
okay.
different abilities. But so if you go to weapon type, you have your different type of weapons, whether a rocket, a beam, or energy type weapon, or a bullet. So you can click on one of those or unlock one if you want.
Yeah.
And as you see, it'll actually change the stats of your weapon depending on which one you choose.
Ah.
Then if you go down to fire rate, this will change your trigger, so you can do one shot, fully auto, burst, or like a pulse.
Auto burst holes. That's you can like make this a single shot auto burst pull. Like you can. There's so much customization that you can do with this.
Yeah, so obviously if you want basically like a sniper type, you would do bullet, you would do one shot, you would do single shot. Scatter would be like your shotgun. Magazine, you can choose whichever, how many shots you want. And then you would take the 3x scope. The handguard, you would choose, you could do a sniper with normal damage, fire damage, electricity damage. And then the stock for the heavier stock would obviously do more, better damage versus accuracy, stuff like that. And then that is a sniper rifle that you just built.
That's just crazy. The amount of customization that you guys have put into this. That's just. That just blows my mind. You can literally create anything like anything that you want to. You know, it's kind of like almost like Borderlands in a way. You know, with their however many they say a gazillion types of weapon, but you don't
Yeah,
get to really craft those weapons yourself. They just kind of
yeah, they're
just drop.
pre-crafted weapons.
Yeah. Now, do
Yeah,
you
this is kind
guys?
of the same concept,
Yeah.
but with more customization, a step further. So,
Now, do you guys plan on adding more to this customization in a few? You guys kind of feeling pretty comfortable with where it's at now?
well, like I said, you'll be able to change like the beam type, the VFX type, the sound, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, this is a ton of customization already. We're also, as we progress, we'll put in different types of pieces
Yeah.
instead. So, like, depending on the planet, more tech like pieces, more magic like pieces, all of that kind of stuff.
I can appreciate that the UI looks simplified and easy to navigate, not cluttered. You know, Moose, I said the exact same thing. It's easy and it's right there, and it feels like you don't have to like trail through everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's really nice. I don't know if you. I don't think you were here yet, Moose. But you can also you can change the weapon skins. You know, there's a lot of customization with that. Even with the characters themselves, you can kind of go in and you can customize how your characters look too. Just going into the Pathfinder, you can customize your colors in the Pathfinder. Each piece you can customize, and like the helmet over here, that's literally go out and like, oh, well, I don't want this helmet for this, or I like this one because I think it matches the colors and the rest of the suit well, and then you can color everything that you want. So the customization is actually like really, really deep with this game, and I think it's going to be a lot of things that people are going to really enjoy. And at myself, I love to make my characters, looking extremely cool. You
Oh,
want to stand
absolutely.
you want to stand out when you're in a game, you know. So are you guys gonna have like a quick loadout options, or you gonna be able to select like multiple different loadouts,
Yeah, so
like
you'll be able
pre-saving?
to actually craft and save loadouts. So if you want a PvP loadout, so you don't have to come in and swap everything out every time, you'll be able to just click that one and go into PvP. So
I think that's something that a lot of people would appreciate. Now, you yourself, what is honestly your favorite part about the game?
flying. I mean, it's what attracts people to this game in the first place. That's the number one. Um, we've had people sit in the game and forget they're even in PvP and just fly around and explore. There's just something soothing and relaxing about just being able to fly around and look at everything and enjoy the beauty of the game. And that's the best part.
I can honestly say, like, for just getting in there and just flying, like, I could just fly around all day. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so fun. Now, was there any like weird bugs or glitches that you came across and you're like how how did this happen? Like, you're just making something and it just turns into like a monstrosity and you're like,
So most of our glitches have been just kind of little normal glitches, things not working how they're supposed to work. But one that I thought was hilarious is we had a big gun glitch. And so when you pulled your weapon out, it would be like 100 times the size that
oh
it was supposed to be.
shit.
Like we have no idea like why, you know, but it was hilarious because you would be walking around with this giant weapon and you could actually still shoot it. It still worked, but it was just hilarious.
That's actually kind of funny. It'd be like walking around like a big head, like some of those older games back in the day. You used to be able to go into the settings and be like, "Oh, turn on big head mode," and it'd just be like you and your buddies there, and y'all got like these just massive heads on, but instead of just massive guns, like we don't know how you pulled it out of where you got it, but it's just there.
Yeah, we had that also with the jetpacks. For some reason, they would be like floating way up in the air, but massive jetpack just trailing you. So it's
Oh,
just interesting. Game dev will always be, and some of them, like in our first demo that Hector and I did, there was also a glitch where when you dodged, it would knock off basically all of the invisible walls, and so you could dodge through objects. And so we actually thought about keeping it in as a like an ability,
mm-hmm.
but we had a map that was this massive map with like buildings and everything, and you could just if you spammed dodge, you could literally just go from one side of the map through the other and just phase through all of the buildings in between. And it was kind of cool, but it was definitely broken.
That that's great to hear. Now, you guys have fun in the game whenever you're play testing. Is there anything that you guys like to do when you're not play testing or you're not working on a game? Is there anything that you guys like to do just to like just relax and be like, hey, let's do this or let's go do that. Let's just get away from the game. Whether if it's just go for a walk in a park, sit around and just conversate, play a game of cards, or what do you guys like to do to take off the tension of working?
Well, I do a couple things. I play Pathfinder, which is basically like Dungeons and Dragons. Um, I'm a giant nerd like that. Tabletop is awesome. But I also motorcycle. I have a motorcycle and just getting out and cruising on that. is very calming and relaxing. And then I am a huge family advocate. I have 3 boys, and just spending time with them and my significant other, because I'm gone. So I am over the road even now. Still, I'm in a semi right now, playing the game and talking to you guys. And so, you know, I work a lot. I drive, 15 hours a day, and then I sit there and do this, and I get home about once a month. And so, family time is extremely important to me because I don't get a lot of it. And, just doing that, which I think is why I'm so involved with the community, because the community is like a giant family. And so, that's just, it's very important to me.
I don't know, for everybody else that kind of hits the heartstring a little bit there. Like that's definitely something family's important, you know. And you miss, you're thinking the same thing I am. Well, when it comes to that, like how, like just the step out of it a little bit. How do you balance between doing this work and home life? You're saying you get home like maybe like once a month and you get to spend time with the family. Like that, how do you do it?
Well, luckily my sons love gaming, so a lot of it is, they like to get on and play too, but I've actually it's hard to balance that lifestyle because I work a lot and sometimes I find myself falling into, notifications, having to do the community. You're on your phone all the time talking to people. And so I try to sit there, and when I'm home, I don't do that. You know what I mean? I just focus on my family. I have to do that, otherwise, you're still just working.
Yeah,
You're at home, but you're working. So
that,
when
that
it's family time,
yeah,
basically.
that definitely, like, I think that's something that a lot of us in the community can appreciate is being able to you know turn off work mode, so to speak, and turn on family mode and be like, hey, let's focus on this now. That's definitely a little bit for everybody. Now the big final question that I'd like to ask you: if this game does great, what would your next dream project?
So I I don't know if you know the Aragon series.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
I am obsessed with dragon riding, and so my next game project would probably definitely be something involving dragon riding. You'd be able to customize your dragon. You'd be able to customize everything, open world type experience, exploration, but with a dragon companion.
Ooh. Yeah. That's see. I'm like that too. I love my dragons. I remember reading the Aragon series whenever I was just young yet, and yeah, that'd be something that I'd be definitely into. Well, anybody that has anything in chat to ask, by all means, please ask. Don't forget to get in there to Patreon and make sure you support this. Do what you can. Obviously, everybody's got things that are going on. Get into the Discord, show these guys some love. They're they're busting their butts, and I think they honestly have something incredible going. Get into the Discord, ask questions. I mean, I'm sure there's a tons of questions that maybe I even forgot. There might be something that might pop up later. Make sure you get in there and be able to ask them questions. Something else that I want to touch on too is the Patreon. You guys go in there. They've got so many tiers. I don't know how they came up with as many tiers as they did, because they've got what, like 13 tiers or something crazy like that, or 8 or 10 or something.
Yeah, we have 8.
Okay, 8. They got like 8 tiers of things in it. And there's literally something for everybody. And some of the stuff that they're, giving away for those tiers are kind of just absolutely incredible. It doesn't cost you anything to go and look. Get in there and check it out. Make sure you go check
There's
out their
even a free
YouTube.
tier.
Yeah, there's even a free tier. Yeah. Um,
So
there's like he said, he's gonna be having a comic book coming out soon. So make sure you guys go check it out because I'm sure that they're gonna be putting a lot of stuff in that comic book that nobody knows about yet, and it's gonna be related to the story, I'm sure. So make sure you
yeah, so
guys get in there.
the comic book is the lore, the histories. So it's basically we're putting how Earth came to be, how it is, how we came to have the suits. It's Everett's story, so the commander, up to the point of pioneering and making the mass-produced suits that we have now. So it goes through why and how Earth came to be, how aliens came to populate the planet, how we have a utopian society, how we built the suits, why we needed to build the suits, and who built them, and his struggle on actually building the suits and what he had to do to basically pioneer to save humanity. All of that will be in the comic book. So
And that's something else that's pretty interesting too. You guys are putting this out there, and half the games we get, we don't even know why things happen the way how they have, and you have this whole other type of media going on that's literally showing like everything, like the origin story of everything. That's such a unique way of doing it, and I absolutely love that.
I told you I love a good story. And so that is one of my things that I like to do and I want to bring is a massive in-depth story. And that includes histories, that includes how we got to be who we are and what we are. People like that stuff. I love that. I love some backstory. It really gets you involved in the storyline and with the characters. Um, you know, lets you know who exactly they are and what you're fighting for.
Sergeant Moose says, I appreciate the showcase. I think this is a perfect time for a new looter shooter to break through, and this one looks to have a lot of potential. I wish nothing but success. Excited to see the game shape and grow. Just join the Discord and we'll be joining Patreon as well. I'm starving for a good looter.
I appreciate that. Like he was saying, we have a lot of stuff in the Patreon, stuff for everyone. So every single tier, you get something from it. It's not just that we're asking for money. You actually get to invest and get stuff. Whether that is the playtesting and being involved in that, access to the comic book and getting the comic book. We have some for 3D printed models. So if you like 3D printing and having unique characters to 3D print and paint, you get that. If you don't have a printer, I actually have it so that I print it and send it to you. Or if you're a collector and you just like to collect, I print it, have someone professionally paint it, and then send you that as well. There's a new model every single month. We have 29 different models in the game, so that's 29 months right now. And that's not monsters, that's not the raid bosses, that's not any of that stuff. That's just unique suits that are unique to this game. We have a tier that can sit there, and if you put in, you get to wherever we launch the game, whether that's in Tokyo or Dubai or here in the States, wherever it is, we fly you out and pay for um, an all paid expense trip, and you actually get to be involved in the opening ceremony of this game. You get to be there, you get to be involved in it. So we have a little bit of everything, anything you can kind of think of uh, to go with.
I am gonna pull up for you guys right now and uh show a little bit of what's on. Yeah, so is there anything else that you'd like to add, Anthony? Anything that you want to kind of, put out there, tell, you know what I mean?
Um, I just want to sit there and say that any type of support, whether that is financial support, whether that is word of mouth, whether that is inspiration, all of that is very important. Everything on social media runs on algorithms. Um, just joining anything, whether that's YouTube, Instagram, the Discord, all of that makes an impact, whether you think it's a huge impact or not. If we can get enough people, that makes a massive impact on what we're doing. We're just trying to get huge awareness to the game because the more people we have behind us, the better off we are. And that's with anything. That's with any type of social media, any type of game, any type of content at all. You need people to back you.
Going on here, guys. Lost. Yeah, but make sure you guys definitely. I guess it doesn't cost anything, right? So yeah, we got the monger, content creator, pilot, collector, founder, architect, and some of the stuff that are given away for that is dang. So much like Anthony said, you know, any type of support is support. So, give what you can, even if that's, just, hey, telling your buddies or getting on, another Discord and be like, hey, if you guys like this game, check out that game. It doesn't cost you anything to help support something that not only yourself is going to enjoy, but somebody else as well might enjoy.
Also, wish listing on Steam is a huge um, asset as well with their algorithm.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, make sure you guys go and wish list, like I said, Discord, YouTube. Share what you can. Any streamers that see this. I mean, if you think it's interesting, don't hesitate just to sit there and just mention about it. We got to get word of mouth around for games because it's the only way that these guys are gonna get voices heard. Now, Anthony, here's another question. When are you guys thinking about
Well, so
like estimated?
so like I said before, we pretty much are released. I mean, people are playing it right now.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah, it's testing, everything like that. But we're trying not to do a just full like this specific date it's going to be released because it's already released. We're growing it with the community. Um, Two, actually, if we put a timeline on, like, say, the campaign, everything to be done, and that's not even counting all the DLCs and everything that we have planned, but just the campaign mode, which I guess would technically be okay, that's the game done, the first part of it. We're talking 2 to 3 years probably. I mean, and that's obviously if we get the backing, if we get the money, if we get the support, that fluctuates. You know what I mean? If we get the support we need and we have a huge team, we're talking way sooner. You know, if we don't, then we're talking, 4 year mark, possibly, depending on how well we're doing. So it's a loaded question. It's hard to sit
Yeah.
there and really just put a a timeline on it, you know.
Well,
So,
you don't want to rush
but the
anything either.
important thing is, no, absolutely not. I mean, look at Anthem. Look at most games out. They sit there and would rather put out a game and it's buggy as heck and then just put fixes in, even though you know darn well that game was not supposed to be released yet. But and that's one thing that killed Anthem, is that they were not ready to be released at all. If they would have sat there and invested a little more time into it, they would have had something. But you know, when it first released, you couldn't even enter the game. You know, and that's a big issue. You know, I had that game pre-ordered a year in advance, and obviously, just like every other one of us, the moment we got in, you know, you couldn't even join anything. You'd keep getting booted. The servers weren't prepared for it. You know, it was just an overall horrible experience, and that is a huge issue with a game. Your first impression is very important, and so, you know, we want to make sure that our first impression is great, and you can do that by community involvement. By the time we have a full release, everyone not only knows who we are, everyone has played it and helped build the game. And so we know for a fact we are going to succeed because our community helped build it. It's what the community wants.
EA crushed Bioware hard to rush it out. Yeah, and I think that's something that's they're trying to avoid, is having to rush something out too fast. I mean, the game feels pretty polished. I mean, to me, like you're playing around with it, feels pretty polished for where it's at. And I firmly believe that by the time that it gets there to where it's, you know, where the devs, Anthony himself, are like, you know what, we're comfortable where we are right now. Like this is, you know, nobody ever stops improving on, you know, on anything. There's always going to be minor improvement, and that's just the type of, you know, thing that games are, is that you're always going to find something. You might not like, you know, the shade, that the color blue. Say, okay, well, I'm going to adjust, or, you know, the menu. Well, I want to tweak this, or I wanted to. You're never going to be completely finished with it, but the idea of having it grow with the community, I think, means so much more.
Absolutely.
Anthony, it has been an absolute pleasure trying this game out, looking through it, and getting a really, you know, sit down and kind of seeing what's in your mind about everything. Big shout out to you guys. You guys are doing great. I personally love the game. I hope that everybody that stopped in and out, I've been seeing a bunch of people come in and out. I hope that you guys all, you know, got to enjoy what you've seen. Any questions that you guys have, make sure to reach out to them on Discord. Uh, Patreon, like I said, I can't stress that enough. Wishlist on Steam. Anywhere that you can find you see their name at, like, go and show your support somewhere. Anthony, it has been a complete pleasure. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and ask you questions, show me around. Absolutely letting me get obliterated by you guys and people. It's awesome, and I enjoyed every bit of it. And
Hey man, I really appreciate it.
absolutely. I hope in the future, like whenever we get the chance to, you know, do another game mode or something like that, hope we get to sit down again and do this all over. It's
Absolutely.
that is it for us,
Yeah,
guys. Go ahead.
oh, I was just saying I really appreciate it because little things like this really allow us to tell our story, and that's important. That's what makes us different, you know.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Like I said, it's honestly been. Another thing too, a big shout out to devs. I know you guys are out there somewhere. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Can't stress that enough for you. You guys are doing great with it. Keep up the good work. You
I
as
appreciate
well.
it, man.
All right, guys, this is Silent signing out. Good luck. Good night. For the game on.